Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 8th September 2015 and I've got another from the sharpening bench video for you tonight. Look at this old warhorse. What you're looking at is the sheath of the Chris Reeve Green Beret fixed blade field knife. These sheaths made for Chris Reeve by Spec Ops, proudly in the USA. And this one has some serious use on it. A heavy duty ballistic nylon. I don't know what this is, like 1500 denier maybe. Moly compatible. Comes with a plethora of cordage stored in the sheath. Suitable for various forms of lashing attachment. A couple big belt loops with a loop and a Velcro. Anyway, a soldier, an operator would want to carry this knife. This sheath affords it super heavy duty snaps. We have a large hard plastic liner protecting the nylon of the sheath. That liner removable with a sort of Chicago screw, I guess, so you could take it out and wash it out. Great sheath, little front pocket here. You could carry a sharpening stone or other fire making gear, whatever you like in there. But the video is not about the sheath. Just kind of wanted to show you this. This is a customer knife. This Chris Reeve has not had a safe, clean life. So here's the knife. And guys, I had never had one of these in my hand before. So here's what it is. On the commercial market, we call this the Green Beret knife. Released in 2002, I believe, and designed for Chris Reeve by Bill Harsey. And you can see the Harsey signature blade shape there. That sort of spear point design, but with a distinctly Chris Reeve grind. It is a hollow grind, and although it's a pretty beefy, thick field knife, gosh, I think that's a 1/4 inch of steel. So although it's pretty beefy and it carries that full thickness and a pretty wide section of flat that goes down awfully close to the tip, we've got what is really not a horribly thick grind, and the hollow grind is high enough that, you know, if you needed to cut up dinner, you could do it. But look at that slab O steel. And what steel is it? It's CPM S35VN, at least in the current models. I don't know what steel Chris Reeve was using back in '02. And it's not stamped, so I can't tell you. Might have been BG42 or even S30V. Current models are coated in KG gun coat. Don't know if that's what this is, but whatever it is, it's holding up pretty well. This knife came to me with essentially the factory edge and a well-used factory edge that had been touched up several times, and it was time for a major sharpening, and it was also tipped pretty badly. Well, we got that all fixed up. Took a little bit of work, but we got it. You can only, when I re-tip a knife, I generally like to come from the cutting edge and then down from the spine a little bit to even out the stock removal, but can't do that on this one because of the swedge and that sort of almost sharp spine as it approaches the tip. And it's so good, I just didn't want to blemish it. Oh, it's so good. It came out great. So this knife, as I said, in commercial circles, for us, the retail buyer, it is the Green Beret knife. If you're in the military and you went to Army Special Forces school and you graduate, you are presented with an identical knife to this. And it's called the Yarborough Knife in the military. Very interesting serrations, I thought. These are sharpened at the tips of the serrations are sharpened on both sides at the same angle as the cutting edge, with only the scallops being sharpened at a different angle and in a chisel ground fashion. Don't know how they cut. If you guys have any experience using them, let me know. So we got a 7-inch blade. They also make it a 5.5-inch version and a 5-inch handle. Knife is about 1 foot long. The scales are removable and they are canvas micarta, and they are a piece of work. I mean, look, we have an hourglass contour palm swell in the middle, looking down the spine, and then 2 finger grooves. You guys know I'd probably prefer it without them, but we have a flare as we come to the hilt. The spine of the blade and all the way around the handle, beautifully rounded. It's an extremely comfortable handle in a variety of grips. As you guys know, canvas micarta, when it gets wet, sort of the fibers in it sort of swell up and get hairy and grippy, and it actually grips better wet than it does dry, which is pretty cool. Interesting steel spec or heat treat spec on this stuff. If you get a current one and it's S35VN, it's not heat treated to Chris Reeve's normal 58 to 60. It's 55 to 57, and as I said, I'm not sure what vintage this knife is or what steel it used, but it's softer than I'm used to seeing from Chris Reeve Knives. Sebenzas, even the Nyala, the fixed blade, seem to be harder than this, which should give it some toughness. And I would say that whatever they're doing, it is pretty tough, because other than the tip being broken off, which, you know, I don't care how tough you make steel, if you drop it tip down on a rock, it's going to break the tip. But most of the cutting edge was really free of chips and nicks. It was just dull. So it seems like they've done a very, very, very good job with heat treatment on this steel. These knives sell brand new retail for $320, and that's a huge chunk of S35VN if you're buying it now, and it's not cheap, as you guys know. And the craftsmanship, the machining quality, the fit and finish, the attention to detail in the handle, and the blade design, you know, really make it worth it. I think if I were a young soldier who had just graduated Special Forces training and my commanding officer handed me one of these, I would wear it and use it proudly. This one has been used proudly. Now, it is a little thicker than most knives I sharpen, and I kind of replicated the factory bevel, which seemed to be about 18 degrees per side, and then I put on a little 21-22 degree micro bevel. Not as highly polished as I would do on a smaller knife, but the edge is, the apex is. Let's see if this wedgy thing can cut some paper. You know, even wedgy grind angles can still be sharp. And when we're cutting sort of a flimsy media, the wedginess of the main blade grind doesn't really come into play. It's all about how aggressive that cutting edge is, and this one's pretty aggressive. I just thought you guys would like to take a look at this, because I had never seen one. I'm not extremely well versed on, the history of Chris Reeve fixed blades, or on using them. So to be able to have one in hand, sort of middle-aged Chris Reeve fixed blade. To be able to have one in hand and work on it was quite an honor. I thought I'd like to share it with you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's good to see a Chris Reeve product that's been thumped and is more than up to the task. That is all for tonight, my friends. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word is sharp.